Hello everyone, Alicia here with another Lighten Up Weight Watcher friendly recipe, and today I'm going to be doing a lower sodium Mississippi chicken. Now this was a viewer request, and I've actually never made Mississippi chicken before or Mississippi pot roast, but I have seen it. It looks really good, but when you look at the ingredients in it, you can see just how much sodium is in it. So that's what I'm going to be doing today, trying to lower that sodium and still have it taste good. And also at the same time, lower the WW points and calories on this. Now, since I've never made this before, I looked at several different recipes for it. They're all pretty much the same. And so I am going to just be linking the one that I'm using mainly as a guide for this. And that'll be down in the description box below if you want to check that out. And then I'm also going to be using that to kind of compare here at the end the difference in sodium. But let me jump into ingredients real quick and I'll show you what you're going to need to make this. First off, you're going to need 3 pounds boneless, skinless chicken breast. I've got just over that here. And then instead of the ranch packet that typically is used in this, one way that I'm going to be cutting a lot of sodium is by doing a homemade ranch seasoning mix instead of using that packet. Now this is one I've used before, but it is not my recipe, so I want to definitely give them credit. So I'll have a link down to the website where I got this from. But for this ranch seasoning, you're going to need 2 tablespoons dried parsley, a teaspoon granulated garlic. Now the recipe uses garlic powder. I never buy garlic powder. I always like granulated garlic instead. So, but you could use garlic powder as well. A half teaspoon dried basil, half teaspoon black pepper, a teaspoon minced onion or onion flakes, and then finally a teaspoon dried dill. So that's for the ranch. And then for the au jus mix, instead of using that, I'm gonna be using some of this Better Than Bouillon roasted beef base. This is reduced sodium as well. So I'm going to be using a teaspoon of this in a cup of water. And then also I'm going to be using a tablespoon of coconut aminos. And this is going to kind of take the place of that au jus as well, combined with the beef base here. I got some pepperoncinis here. I'm going to be using 8 of these. And finally, I've got some cooking spray for my Crock-Pot, and I don't think I said that in the beginning. I'm gonna be doing this in the Crock-Pot just because I love doing things in the Crock-Pot, and I think it's gonna be easier and really tasty in the Crock-Pot, but you could definitely do this in the oven if you wish. But let me go grab my Crock-Pot and we will get this started. And real quick, I completely forgot my Brummel and Brown. I had that sitting over to the side. You are gonna need 2 tablespoons of a light butter spread. This is just my personal preference or favorite butter spread. Is 50% less calories and fat, I believe, than regular butter. So I'm gonna be using 2 tablespoons of this as well. All right, got my Crock-Pot here, but first what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get my ranch seasoning made up. So that is gonna start with 2 tablespoons of dried parsley, a teaspoon dried dill, teaspoon granulated garlic or garlic powder, teaspoon minced onion, half teaspoon dried basil, and half teaspoon pepper. And I'm gonna just whisk or mix all that together. Okay, that is ready. So now I'm gonna take my water and I'm gonna add a teaspoon of this Better Than Bouillon. And now I'm gonna stick this in my microwave and get that heated up so that bouillon melts in there. So now I'm gonna just give my Crock-Pot a quick spray with this cooking spray. And then I'm gonna lay my chicken on the bottom. I've got my bouillon here melted up. And I went ahead and just gave it a quick whisk. So now I'm gonna pour that over the top of my chicken breast. Next, I'm going to add in a tablespoon of coconut aminos and just pour that on top. And I'm going to sprinkle on my ranch seasoning. Now I'm going to take my Brummel and Brown. I'm going to just kind of dot it on the top of my chicken. And finally, I'm going to add my pepperoncinis to the top. Now I'm gonna put the lid on this, I'm gonna set it to low, and I'm gonna let this cook for about 6 hours. You can also do it on high for about 4, but you want to cook this until your chicken reaches an internal temp of 165. So I'll be back at that point. It has been just about 6 hours. I'll show you real quick what it's looking like before it steams up my camera. I temp checked this and they're all well over 165. So definitely done. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the chicken breasts out and I'm going to just shred them up. These are really tender, so they're kind of falling apart. Well, one already did. Oh, that one did too. As I take them, whoops, ouch. So the shredding is going to be really easy. I'm just going to use 2 forks, which is what I usually do when I'm shredding a crock-pot chicken. All right, so I've got this all out, and like I said, I'm just going to take my forks and just kind of shred this up. And as you can see, it's shredding really, really nicely. So I'm gonna get this all done and then I will be back. Here's how that chicken is looking. So now I'm gonna take it and I'm gonna dump it back into my crock pot and stir that in. And a little tip, I should have removed the peppers before stirring that back in so that I could take the stems off. But anyway, this is what we're looking like. This is done. So I will plate some up. We'll give this a taste as well and see what we think of it. And I'll also show you how we're gonna have it or what we're gonna have it with. I have got a serving of this, which I've factored in at 8 servings because that's what the recipe that I was using as a guide has theirs at. And that way I can compare the sodium per serving for you. And I'll have that up on the screen right after the points and macros. So this is roughly a cup of the chicken, and that is going to be just 1 point. Now I'm going to have this with cauliflower rice just because I want to keep this low carb, but we will give this a try. I'm just waiting on my husband to walk in the door and see what we think of it. I think I forgot to say this. Well, I've got my husband here. Say hello.
Hello.
This whole thing, being that the cauliflower rice is no points, is only a point for that meal.
That's
which
amazing.
I think, just looking at it,
Yeah,
is great.
that's crazy to me.
So he's gonna give it a taste, and then I'll taste it. Have you? Oh, I'll ask you when you're done chewing.
So I'm getting just like chicken flavor up front. Mm-hmm. It's got this lovely spiciness on the back end. Mm-hmm. You know, real, actually pretty flavorful.
Have you had Mississippi chicken before?
No.
Okay, so you can't
I have no
compare it
clue.
either.
Yeah.
I unfortunately don't have a clue either. So this is kind of just, what do you think of a 1 point chicken meal?
That's really
for
good.
us.
That's really good with the pepper. Mm-hmm. I would probably want like
more peppers.
that sectioned out and throughout the dish.
Oh, okay. Well, and they got all broken up
Yeah.
in here.
But I like
Mostly.
the a little more, maybe bigger pieces, you know,
Okay.
with it. Yeah, that's really good for a point. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. Okay. I don't want that much. I just ate, so I'm like, I just want a little tiny,
You're just so
dainty, I
dainty
know.
and delicate.
Just a dainty little bird.
let it marinate there on your taste buds.
Okay. I see what you're, whoa, okay. So it just keeps going. It doesn't, it's like, it kind of just tastes like, well, chicken in the beginning.
Yeah, it's real interesting. It's like plain
It builds.
plain chicken when you first put it in and chew it, and then it's like,
Yeah.
I'm not going to say bam.
The flavor, no, it's not bam. It's like this slow build.
Yeah,
And the,
lovely spiciness on the tongue.
that pepper flavor really comes out nicely.
Oh.
How's it with the cauliflower rice? People eat this with pasta, rice, potatoes. Obviously, all those would be really probably good.
Potatoes would be good.
Potatoes would be my preference. You can also put it on like buns, which I think might be good too. If you could find like a low point bun.
I don't know. Like you'd want it to be sauced almost. My
Yeah.
mind goes to sauce.
Mine
Because
did
this
too.
is really reminding me of like pulled pork. It's
It was like pulled chicken with a little kick.
which really isn't anything, but yeah, no, it's great.
You like it?
Yeah.
For a point? Okay, well.
You know, when you're eating chicken for like protein,
yes,
it can get difficult.
It can,
and this is a really good option to mix it up.
And we require, with as much exercise as we do a day, we require a lot of protein, and that's usually chicken is kind of the default protein, and it does get a little boring. So I like that, and that keeps us in our points too. High protein, low points, much lower sodium. Again, I'll put the numbers up here comparing this version to the other. And obviously I'm going to assume that the other one probably has a whole lot more flavor because it has all that extra sodium, different forms of sodium. But I enjoy that.
Yeah, this is by no means a dull tasting dish.
All right, guys. Well, that was lower sodium Mississippi chicken. Thank you to my viewer that requested this. If you guys try this, let me know if it comes even close to regular Mississippi chicken as far as the flavor, because again, we have no idea. All I could do was go buy a typical recipe for it and just try to lighten that up sodium-wise. But anyway, be sure to check down in the description box for ingredients, instructions, www recipe builder link, calories, macros, other nutritional info. All of that is going to be down in the description box. But thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.